Surprise! It's another Run Disney video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lindsay, aka SwishWilly, and I talk about all things Disney. In this case, we're talking about all things Run Disney, so if you're into that sort of thing, please make sure you hit subscribe and click that notification bell, just to make sure you don't miss any of my videos. Don't worry, I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll wait. Thank you for subscribing. So today we are going to be talking about the Run Disney Springtime Surprise Weekend. It took them a hot minute to announce the theming, and I don't know why. In my history of Run Disney events, I have never seen it take so long and so close to registration for the theme to be announced. So if you are part of that lucky group of people that got to run a Run Disney race in Disneyland, these themes are probably going to feel pretty familiar. Yep. Every race is Pixar themed. I knew it was just a matter of time for Pixar to get its own race weekend. I know a lot of runners love to do these races and become perfect in their race. The problem with this race weekend is that because it's a springtime surprise, the races are never the same. The distances are the same, but the races will always change. And by that, I mean the theming will always change. Run Disney has confirmed that the springtime surprise will not qualify for a perfect race weekend. For instance, last year's 10 miler was Tower of Terror themed, and obviously because these races are Pixar based now, it is not the same race. So if you are only looking to register to get that perfect 10 miler or the perfect 10K from the Springtime Surprise Weekend, unfortunately, that's not a thing this time. But if that doesn't bother you, let's hop to the races. The Springtime Surprise Weekend is going to start April 13th and end April 16th. The very first event that's gonna happen is the Springtime Surprise Yoga. If you have done a Princess Half Marathon weekend and have participated in the yoga, it's going to be very, very similar. However, this one is going to be located in Disney's Hollywood Studios, and I'm not remotely surprised because a lot of the Pixar stuff is based over there. So your yoga is going to be April 13th at 5 a.m. and it's going to cost you a whopping $109. I feel like this is relatively the same for what they were doing for Princess Weekend. However, I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to double check, or you can check this video for Princess Half Marathon Weekend right here. This yoga event is going to be a 1-hour instructor-led yoga session. It will include complimentary water, I would hope so. Also a yoga mat. I don't think you are allowed to take them home, but if you have done a yoga session before for Run Disney Weekend, please comment down below and correct me if I'm wrong on that. The yoga session also includes complimentary parking up until 4:45 a.m. 4:45 is the latest time you are allowed to show up for the yoga session, as it does start at 5 a.m. And you have to be 10 years of age or older. And if you are 14 years or younger, you need to be accompanied by someone who is 14 and up. Now, after the conclusion of the event, you must leave the park. So no sneaky and trying to stick in the park for free, because they will find out and you will need a valid park entry and valid park reservation. Again, no sneaky. Now let's talk about your 5K. Your 5K is Cars themed. This is going to take place on April 14th at 5 a.m. This one is going to cost you $103.40. Yep, it's cheaper than the yoga session. For this race, you have to be 5 years of age or older, and like the yoga session, if you're under 14 years of age, you have to be accompanied by someone 14 years of age or older. All right, now let's move over to the 10K. The 10K is Monsters, Inc. themed. This race takes place on April 15th and is gonna set you back $146.04. Again, this race starts at 5 a.m. and for whatever reason, on the website, it does not say the age requirement, but if I'm being honest, I feel like the 10K is going to require you to either be 10 years of age or older or 14 and up. And again, if you are under 14 years of age, you will need someone to race with you who is 14 years of age or older. Now let's talk about that 10 miler. 10 milers are one of my favorite distances. It was my first Run Disney event back in 2014, and that was the Tower of Terror 10 miler, which was also the last Tower of Terror 10 miler that took place at night. After that race weekend, they completely kiboshed it, but then they brought it back last year for the Springtime Surprise. So your 10 miler this year is going to be Toy Story themed. This one takes place on April 16th, which is the final day of the race weekend, and it's also at 5 a.m. Now this race is going to be your most expensive singular race at $207.87. And I also don't know the exact age range, but I want to say that with a 10 miler, it's absolutely going to be a minimum of 14 years of age or older. I don't believe they're going to put this one at 18 plus because I believe that's just going to be for the full marathon that happens on the WDW marathon weekend. Now, for all of you people who are nuts and love the challenges, I am also one of those people who's nuts because I love the challenges. The challenge this year is going to be Nemo themed, and this includes your 5K, your 10K, and your 10 miler. Obviously, each of these races start at 5 a.m. like I mentioned earlier, and the challenges are always the hefty price point. This year's Springtime Surprise Challenge is $479.70. Now I know what you're thinking. This price point doesn't add up if you were to register for each of the races individually. It's actually about $20 more, but you also get an additional medal. So instead of the 3, you actually get 4. Plus, you get 4 race shirts. So I guess in the end of the day, you're going to be paying for an additional medal and an additional race shirt. I'm personally going to say that even though it's $20 more than if you were to register individually, I'm gonna say it's well worth it. Once you register for the challenge, you do not need to re-register for the 5K, the 10K, or the 10 miler. It's all included in the package, so make sure you are not double dipping and paying more than you need to. My apologies, as I am clearly a dirty, rotten liar because they did put the age restrictions for the other races on the website. I just really needed to open my eyes. Let's do a clarification. The 5K, as mentioned, is 5 years of age or older. Your 10K is 10 years of age or older. Your 10 miler is actually 12 years of age or older, and your challenge is also 12 years of age or older. Now that we've talked about the registration costs and what time the races are at, let's talk about when registration opens. If you are a Club Run Disney Gold or Platinum member, your registration is this coming Tuesday, August 16th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you are not a Club Run Disney member like myself, general registration opens for you the next Tuesday, August 23rd at 10 a.m. There are going to be virtual races, and that registration always falls on the Friday after the general registration opens, so you can anticipate your registration happening on August 26th and again at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not going to touch on how you register in this video because I do have a pretty thorough video that I've previously recorded, so I'm going to pop that one right here so you can check that out to prep yourself for a successful registration day. One of the great things is that Run Disney has continued their virtual races even after things went live. So before, once you know what happened and everything shut down, they moved their races to simply virtual. So now you can either go in person or you can do virtual. The virtual races are always going to be cheaper, and that's simply because you don't get the race entertainment, the special characters. You don't really get that full feel of the race weekend because you're essentially doing it at home. Your registration for the 5K virtual is going to be $79.95. Your 10K virtual registration is going to be $94.87. Your 10 miler virtual registration is going to be $115.13. And your challenge virtual registration is going to be $325.13. Now, yes, these races have very weird totals, but that's because they are including the 6.6% service fee. So that way there's no extra surprises whenever you're registering. Now, if you're an international like myself, it's important to note that these fees are actually in US dollars, so be mindful of your exchange rates. Okay, let's get down into the biggest question that we always get asked, and that is your proof of time requirements. Your 5K and your 10K do not require a proof of time unless you are doing the challenge. And the only reason why you need a proof of time for the challenge is because the 10 miler, if you are anticipating running it under a specific amount of time, you do need to include your proof of time. So for the 10 miler, if you're anticipating completing the race in under an hour and a half, that's when you need your proof of time. If you are anticipating over an hour and a half, don't worry about it, you don't need to submit that proof of time. Your proof of time needs to come from a race that is USATF certified. Usually any race where your bib is chipped will count, but it's very good to pay attention to that when you are registering for a race if you are specifically registering for it to get your proof of time. Now, the race length that is required for your proof of time is either a 10K, 15K, 10 miler, half marathon, or full marathon. Any proof of time from those race lengths will be valid. When it's time to register and submit your proof of time, there are a few things that you need to have on hand in order to submit your proof of time. You'll need your name of the race, the distance, the state and city in which it occurred, your finish time in hours, minutes, and seconds, and a website link to the results. And please be mindful that you need to submit your proof of time the latest January 3rd. I personally recommend that you submit it as soon as you possibly can, because even if you submit your proof of time before January 3rd, if the start group that you think you should be in is full, they're going to push you to the next available. So if you think you're going to be in starting group 2, but 2 is full, you might get pushed to starting group 3. But if starting group 3 is also full, you'll be pushed into starting group 4. So that's why it's very important to put it in as early as possible to get the closest and most accurate start group based on your proof of time. The last thing you want to do is have a stellar proof of time that can maybe put you in starting group 1, and then you get stuck in starting group 5 because you submitted it too late. I've seen it happen. Now let's talk about the Expo. Your Expo is going to be open for 3 days and 3 days only, which means it's not going to be open on the day of the 10 miler because you're gonna need to pick up your bib before that day. So there's really no need for them to keep the Expo open on the final race day. On Thursday, April 13th, that is your first day of the Expo. That is going to be the busiest day because everybody wants that race merch. And let me tell you, it can get pretty wild in there. So I do recommend you get there pretty early to get your merchandise. The Expo that day is going to be open at 10 a.m. and run through to 7 p.m. So you can get all of your merchandise, pick up your bib, and all that jazz. And be mindful that the different things are in different buildings. Your bib pickup is not going to be in the same spot as all of the race merchandise. So just be mindful that you're going to need to travel from building to building. On Friday, April 14th, the Expo is going to be open at 12 p.m. through to 6 p.m. And Saturday, the final day on April 15th, is going to be open 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now that we have the Expo times, those are also the times that you can pick up your race bibs. It's very important to remember that you need to pick up your race bibs the day before your races. You cannot pick it up on the day of, and obviously the 10 miler is on the Sunday and the Expo is not even open on Sunday. So if you're running the 5K on the Friday, you need to pick up your race bib on the Thursday. If you're running the 10K on Saturday, you have to pick it up by Friday. If you're running just the 10 miler, you need to pick it up by Saturday. And if you're running the challenge, you must pick it up on Thursday. No ifs, ands, or buts. At times, they do have emergency bib pickup the morning of the race at the race itself. However, we can't guarantee that that's gonna happen every single time, so please plan accordingly. If you are traveling from out of state or out of country, I highly recommend that you fly in at least 2 days prior in case any flight problems happen, because cancellations are a real thing and rescheduling is a real thing, so just be mindful of that. The pacing requirements for this weekend are the same for every single Run Disney event. You must keep a 16-minute per mile pace throughout the entire race. If you're nervous that you're not going to be able to keep that 16-minute per mile, I highly recommend that you just keep your eye on the balloon ladies or even run with them to make sure that you can finish the race, because the balloon ladies are fantastic, fantastic people. They scare the bejeebus out of some people, but they're lovely, and what they do is they make sure that they are running at the slowest pace possible in order to complete the race. So they're a really good checkpoint to understand exactly where you are in the race. I always provide this disclaimer for people who are planning to register for Run Disney. Run Disney is not cheap. We all know that. The pricing is well worth the experience that you get. However, I want everyone to know that if you are planning to run these races, it's not likely that given any circumstance you're going to get your money back should you not be able to go to the race or if the race is canceled. It's happened before where it's extremely hot or the weather just isn't cooperating in terms of thunderstorms, where the races do either get cut short or canceled in general. So unfortunately, even if you break a limb, Run Disney will not reimburse your fee, and that is clearly laid out on their website as well as throughout registration, so please be very mindful of that. With that being said, should your race get canceled or modified and shortened based on weather problems. Run Disney before has given slight refunds in the terms of gift cards, or they have allowed you to defer to another race weekend. It's not guaranteed that they will do this every time. However, they have been known to do it. The way I look at this is hope for the best, but anticipate the worst, because they are not required to give you this money back. It's lined out clear as day on their website. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this has helped you and helped you prepare for the springtime surprise weekend, which I think is actually a pretty fun concept where it is genuinely a surprise each year. So I wish you the best of luck on registration day. I hope this clarified what race you want to do. And please make sure you hit subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos, because I do these Run Disney videos frequently or as soon as I can, given information that's out. Again, best of luck on registration and have an awesome day!